Well, guys, we are learning more and more about the leakers because as we know this year, it's been a bit more controversial than usual. We've got leakers saying things or not saying things to try and help their discords make coins, their paid discords. We're sort of seeing a new era of these FIFA leaks where before it was kind of like innocent and felt like now it's really almost a business. And it doesn't really help their business to try and tell us certain things ahead of time. And now that it's turned into more of a serious thing here, we're getting the questions of like, hey, are leaks good for the game? Are they bad for the game? These questions have been out there for a while, but they're getting asked even more now because of the circumstances of this year so far. Everyone says, hey, it's been pretty boring. Why is that? People aren't really sure. Do leaks play a part in that? We know the content prior to it coming out, and we've learned some information here from a source that tells us how some of this stuff is happening. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the top of the description. They're the safest and the cheapest option, and you can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. And besides that, there's not a whole lot today. The market, in terms of attackers and especially wingers, died because of this evolution that came out. We'll talk about that. There's not really a whole lot of leaks and news, a couple of things here and there. And thank you guys all for watching, of course. I responded to, I think, like 80+% or almost 90% of the comments from last video. I'm going to be finishing that up here after I schedule this to upload. So thank you all for doing that. The engagement on those videos every time is crazy, and I'm greatly appreciative of you guys. I'm going to try and do that once a week, I think. I want to kind of do that like pretty regularly because I don't think creators spend enough time talking to the audience. I really don't think that they do. I know it's easier for me to say because I'm a smaller channel, obviously, but still, like, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about content because there were a couple of things here that were interesting. So this one here, a 30k Evo, kind of gave you, it was like a Claudia Pina Evo. I saw Fud Accountant say that. It's like a Claudia Pina Evo evolution. That's kind of, yeah, something along those lines. Low Driven Plus is just so good that this instantly makes the card super usable. And then you add in the fact that they gave you Technical and Tiki Taka, I think, which are two fantastic playstyles too. Like, this is a really, really good evolution, and it's only 30k, which is partly, you know, it makes you wonder, why is this priced this way? And then you have other ones like the Center Back Evo, 100,000 coins. I know this one is really, really good as well. Is it a 70k difference? I don't know. I don't really know the thought process behind these pricings. I try and read a lot into this stuff, as you guys know if you watch my videos, and you do wonder, like, if the engagement's lower right now, would they start to price Evos maybe more favorably? I think they probably would, right? So I'm trying to find little hints and bits and pieces of how, like, active the game is right now, because I'm trying to see if it's actually as bad as some people think it is, or if it's an over-exaggeration and people are just saying shit to say shit. But we'll talk about that more in just a little bit when we get to the leak stuff here. What's funny is that actually this Seshko card, guys, I got a couple of comments in like the last few videos of people saying this card's actually really good. It just sucks trying to complete him, right? And it's funny because I think ever since they dropped these, I've ranted about them in each video because I'm so perplexed by them. And obviously they refresh and now they're repeatable again. Great. Awesome. That's awesome. Cool. We're not going to get into it again. Okay. We're not going to do it. There is also this positional excellence evolution that, if you guys don't know, does give a player full chemistry. Like, it just guarantees a player to have full chemistry in your team. It takes away their ability to help other cards link to each other, if that makes sense. So if I apply this evolution to that Mbappe right there, Mbappe would not help French players or Real Madrid players or La Liga players get chemistry, but he'd himself have 3 no matter what. But that works perfectly if you have an evolution of a card that is from some just rando league, right? So that is really cool. I think they need to do more of this. Chemistry and freedom and flexibility is important, and I'm glad that they're like maybe leading into that a bit here. And there was a Reddit thread as well, by the way, of people saying it makes a lot of sense for EA to sort of starve off a lot of the XP until like a week or so before, or maybe like 10 days before the season actually ends, because then you feel more pressured during the rest of the season. When EA finally drop an XP objective, you go, oh my god, I have to do this. Oh my god, 500 XP just dropped. I have to do it. So then you go out and complete some bullshit objective that wins 7 games or whatever. That takes a lot of time. And also, you might want to buy the Storm Kit, right? The Storm Kit here, 45,000 coins or $5.50. Cha-ching. That's good money for EA right there. If you get like even just a few thousand of these being sold, like that's not a bad little chunk of change for artificially changing the XP system. And not changing, sorry, but just making it more drawn out, less XP at the start. Now you need to know if they do this again next season, it's going to be just flooded. Like right now, XP is everywhere and you can get a lot of levels quickly. But the problem with this too is that some people can't play for days at a time. So like this FC Pro Path, when it came out, I think it was a couple days ago. So you had like 6 days to complete that one. But this Flash Rush one's like, hey, 3 days, by the way, here's 2,000 XP of the season, and you have 2 days to do it or 3 days to do it. And if you were gone for those days, like, sorry, you're out of luck. I know EA is releasing more XP and stuff, but it's just a little stuff like this that adds up that makes people discouraged with grinding for stuff, because you know what EA is doing when they do this. The freedom is so limited, and I think that is why part of this game gets boring. And then we'll talk about now the leaks and stuff, and the leakers, I should say, because this has been the talking point over the last 24 hours, and we've got some information on this. So I'm relating this to the boring part. Like, are leakers and leaks themselves maybe making the game more boring too? I don't know. It would make sense to me, right? But here's what dropped today. So X dropped an update, well, formerly Twitter, right now X dropped an update where you can see where the account is based and also where they joined from, where the account was based at that time. So what people really found out today was that like all of the big leakers are based in the same country, and that is Romania. So FUD Agent, Romania right here, right? November 2024. Over here, FUD Police Leaks, Romania. Account based in Romania. FUD Freeze, who just came back recently, also based in Romania. We have FIFA Trading, Romania. You've got Mateus Gamer. I know he's based in Romania as well. A lot of these guys, I think AC was Portuguese, like there's a random couple other ones in there, but a lot of these guys are Romanian. And why is that? There were people thinking, like down here in the replies, that they're the same person, right? People were like, oh my God, it's kind of been exposed. Or is this just all the same person, but having multiple accounts? Or is it a bot or something like that? You know, what's going on here? And what's actually happening here is Waldy down here does say this. They have a big office in Bucharest, which is in Romania, obviously. And that's why a lot of these leakers are based in Romania. They're getting a lot of this information from there. The question then is like, how is AC, for example, from Portugal and getting leaks? Is it through just somebody he knows that's from these areas, or is there no tie at all and he's just like reaching out to people or something like that? You know, how is this exactly working? Well, I've been in contact with somebody who has leaks and is a pretty big Twitter account. So I was talking to them. I'm going to leave them anonymous, obviously. And this was actually a few days back. So I was learning about this days ago before this topic kind of started to come up. And this person says all these leaks come from remote workers of EA, by the way, who live in countries where they're paid a pittance. Average salary of a producer in Bulgaria is like 12,000 USD. So they sell leaks to get more money, is what he says. So they do sell them, is the claim, which, by the way, it's a claim, right? I don't have the proof to back this up. Don't sue me. I'm sure if the people who literally were selling this information for real money would probably get in trouble for that. So we're not gonna make guarantees here, but this is what is being said is taking place. And he sent me a poster from somebody who basically just didn't have leaks and was copy and pasting them, but that's beside the point. He also says up here, I asked him, how do you have leaks? Where did you get them? Did you reach out, or how did this happen, right? He says, just a random guy who approached me, lives in Bulgaria and works remote. So just reached out to him apparently to be like, hey, I'll give you leaks if you maybe give me something on the side. And that's how all this stuff happens. I think the biggest misconception we've known for a while now is that they have like data mining and they find it in the code and stuff. The only thing that comes from the code is the packs. That's it. Nothing else comes from the code at all. All the leaks we have are from just strictly people who work with the makings of these cards, whether it be like the graphic design or actually this making the cards themselves. That's where the info actually comes from, and they are doing it for money, it looks like. I wondered if they were. I figured they were. And it turns out that's the claim here that I'm going to assume is correct. We don't know that for sure. And now looking at the info we got today, where almost all these leakers accounts are based in Romania, it's because just the office is there. And there's one in Bulgaria too. And the claim that like EA doesn't pay them enough. Could the EA employee be lying about that salary? They could be, right? To try and maybe make it seem like it makes more sense that they would want to sell leaks. I don't exactly know. We don't have much information here besides this, but you know, the other question that comes in here now, knowing some of this stuff, is this even good for the game? I think we all can agree that not knowing what comes out at content time is fun. I think we all can probably agree on that. And if we can agree on that, then it kind of has to make it worse, right? I mean, for example, this Thunderstruck promo that comes out next Friday. Could you imagine we didn't know anything about it and we were like, oh my God, the SPCs could be crazy. Well, we know they're going to be good. So it's like, is the Friday one going to be crazy? The team might be insane. And looking back to like FC24 Thunderstruck, right? People loved that promo so much. And imagine it was all a surprise. And honestly, fuck that. Not even talking this one. Let's talk about FC Pro Live. And this dog shit, well, potentially could be dog shit, right? But most likely dog shit promo. You'd still have a chance. Like Friday comes out and you're like, well, let's check it out. Let's see what the team's going to be like. Now, if a team doesn't look good, people will just not log on that day and be like, nah, like, I don't really care. I genuinely think we're going to get to a point soon where EA are going to have to put a stop to this. I think there's not going to be any choice. If there's a ton of people wondering why they're not having fun with this game and you're not even like sure why it's boring, well, you know what would help is if you didn't know every piece of content coming out. Like, it is pretty crazy that you can't log on and be surprised almost ever. The objectives, sure, you can like see what the pack rewards are and stuff, and like that's kind of surprising. The evolutions, you can see who fits in. Like, that's kind of the only surprising point of content for the most part. But really, there's not a lot of surprises anymore, and I think that's a fundamental piece of a game like this that's missing. I think not being in the know of exactly what's happening, which by the way, people will say you can do that, right? You can just avoid everything. You can do that. Yes, you could try your best to do that, like you could, but you are willingly putting yourself at a massive disadvantage if you do that, to the point where it's not really feasible unless you're somebody who plays this game mega casually. Because yeah, you can just ignore leaks and lose coins all the time in random parts of the year where you didn't realize you would. And if you were keeping up with the leaks, you would obviously know that. You probably save so many coins over the course of the year by just keeping up to date with what's going on with the leaks. And no matter how hard you try, you'd still have half of it spoiled for you probably if you check social media at all. And there was some talk about the viewership being really low worldwide on FC26. Like, the Twitch followers system is way lower than in last year's game. You could like follow a game, and the FC26 follower count is like way lower than the last few years. This is true, but it's a little misleading too, because multi-streaming is bigger than ever, and people don't like Twitch. Like, Twitch, you load up Twitch and it's got 7 ads immediately. Ad blockers also don't work on Twitch, or most ad blockers don't work on Twitch. You go to YouTube, you can rewind the stream, which you can on Twitch. Many people have YouTube Premium. People are multi-streaming. Most viewers will want to go to YouTube unless they've been on Twitch forever. So new viewership on Twitch is really low, actually. If you guys look up the metrics of that, it's like super low, catastrophically low. Of new people going on Twitch is insanely low. So that is not a shock to me, but it does seem still low, and we don't really have numbers on YouTube stuff, so we can't really check that out. But I wouldn't really look too much into this specifically, but it's still something to take note of. And people have said, you know, check the Steam numbers. It's even down compared to last year, and last year it was obviously bad to the point where EA had to apologize and they lost a ton of money. And the thing with looking at this right now is that Black Friday hasn't happened yet with November's numbers. So you're looking at the average players before we have one of the biggest promos of the year. That will help November's numbers. Like, the peak player count here is 75.3, and last year it was 79.9. The average players at 38.7. This year I think it's like 37.1. Is that what it said? I'd assume it goes back up to right around this point, and the peak players probably goes up quite a bit more than 79,000, probably more like 85 to 90,000. If that doesn't happen though, and then Black Friday doesn't actually bring a lot of players back, then they're in really big trouble. And to be fair, I mean, it's going to help in numbers, but still, if they wanted to not have what happened last year, it probably isn't going to be quite as bad, but it's not looking great. I mean, it's not like they're out here totally doing undoubtedly, unequivocally better than last year. It looks probably gonna be better, but as of right now, there's no guarantee of that, and that's definitely a failure for them. Like, that undoubtedly is a failure. If it does not even end up going like what I think it's gonna be, then it's definitely, no doubt, a colossal failure, because they're gonna end up not meeting revenue goals either, honestly. And the thing with this is that what's funny is I think they probably, in their numbers and their estimates for this month, right? This is the month GTA 6 was supposed to come out, and ignore the voice crack, but it's actually kind of funny because this might be right in line with what they thought they were going to make, even though it's less. But obviously GTA 6 is not coming out. It's coming out next November. So maybe there's actually less of like a panic, even though the context behind it is way different. There might not be as much of a panic this year because that's kind of what they expected, because they'll just be blind to it and be like, oh, we made what we thought, and then just ignore the idea that, well, actually GTA 6 didn't even come out. The biggest media release of all time, that didn't drop, and you kept the same numbers you thought you were gonna hit despite that. So I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't look too much into this right now. Yeah, guys, what do you think? And you know, is it possible the leaks can even end? I think it's possible if they cared enough to do it. Now, we've seen game companies like Rockstar, for example, where leaks are so cracked down on. And ironically, GTA 6 did get leaked. Like, was it 2022 or something like that? A lot of the gameplay got leaked, but that was exceptionally rare, right? So, and that can happen. Like, we know it's probably never going to be perfect or anything, but if it was rare for there to be leaks, I think that would help this game. I genuinely think it can't hurt it. And EA, if it needs to try something different, if people have the opinion right now of like, hey, I don't know what the problem is, I'm just bored, they need to try something different like that, and maybe something pretty drastic. And I think that is drastic now, not knowing what content's going to be. But okay, a couple things here. First of all, these icons upgrade soon. I think it's the 27th, I want to say. 27th or 28th. One of those 2 days. You got like 6 days left. If you guys don't know what these upgraded cards look like, we can take a look at all of them right here. And they're all like all really good, honestly. There's a couple that are meh, but this whole first page here is great, right? Henri Morgan Seguer looks actually pretty damn good. She may be not the most insane card now that I look at her a little closer, but still pretty good. Zlatan obviously is great. Iniesta is great. Alex Morgan, Oli Khan, you don't need me to describe that there. Toni Kroos with 72 pace, not the most ideal. Totti looks incredible. I cannot wait to use my Totti that I've got. Jones looks like her icon card, basically. Stevie G with Ping Pass Plus. I promise he was going to be pretty good. All you Stevie G guys out there, give him a try if he gets upgraded, because I do think that Ping Pass Plus is really good. Chiellini looks awesome. Marcelo looks like a pretty damn good left back. Shaw looks really good too with Rapid Plus, 89 pace, 87 shot, 87 dribbling. That's better than his icon card, right? I think by a pretty good margin. And then CC down here, Tiki Taka Plus, looks like a nice cam too. So a lot of good options here. This does go to show you, like, if you got unlucky in your icon pack, I'm sorry, because if you happen to get Toni Kroos, or if you happen to get even, I guess Stevie G still too looks pretty good, but there are some just bangers in here that would be like insane cards to put in your team right now. Like Totti, Jones is insane. I've used her plenty of times this year. Henri's insane. Alex Morgan's insane. Oli Khan, what a keeper. That's an unbelievable keeper card. Zlatan, Iniesta, Ronaldo. Like, these cards are kind of insane. Some of them are insane for right now. So just goes to show you, EA, we're really trying to get people to pre-order this game, right? Next up here, we have a couple of SBCs or objectives that we have not seen yet. We've seen, I think, all of them on this page besides two. I'm gonna go look at those two right here. So Gabriel Silva gets a card. That's that silver with Quick Step Plus that everybody wants, right? He gets a World Tour Brazilian card. Quick Step Plus, of course, 97 pace, kind of your typical pace merchant. 97 pace, 81 shot, 85 dribbling with Quick Step Plus there. And then this card right here, if we actually zoom out to try and get a better look at it, because I know we can't really see it. Not that the official stats matter too much. It's not the best card, but this Provjgard, I want to say Provjgard card here, actually is pretty cool because this is himself. He won the E-Champions League in 2021. Like, he's an esports player, and he now plays for Lazio. Here's the article right here. Flashbang warning, 3, 2, 1. Dear God, the esports champion who's now operating as a real-life footballer for Lazio. Some people just got it all, right? They're just born with it, I guess. And this guy just does what he wants. So that's a crazy story, and it's cool he's going to get a card in the game this year. But yeah, that is pretty much that there. And that's pretty much it for the leaks and news here. Let's talk about the market next, because actually it's done exactly like we said, which is nice because that doesn't always happen. So in the victory lap, so we can get them. It went up slightly. Like, I think the index 100 had it going up a few percent. A card like Bonmati, for example, one of the most in-demand cards in the game. I love looking at her price to get a judge of the market. She went up a lot, right? 285 she went up to just today, really early in the morning, Saturday, really late Friday night, up at 287. She was down at 260, right? And before then, like the 270-ish range, right? You could say. Now down at 240K down here because it's just a sell-off. You don't want to hold on to the cards right now into Black Friday, and people know that, and they're all selling right now on Saturday night. And there was some panic buying too. People saw the market going up, like, oh, wait, it's actually, it's going up because there's not much content. Oh, you know, let's buy and play Weekend League, and then you do, and then you lose all your coins and your players. So this is why you didn't want to buy this weekend, and it's going to get worse than this too. She's 250 now, but if I had to guess, she's going to get worse than that. But guys, looking at these FC Pro Live cards here, there's a couple examples of some guys that could actually be really good investments in terms of like base, just risk-free investments, like Fabio Vieira here, right? He's 12,500. I just saw him at 11K. I'm sure you can snipe him at like 11K. No one's buying this card. He's 86 rated. I don't know how good Darkly is. I have no idea. But the thing with him is if he gets 16 FC Pro points, he gets +2 overall. He's an 88 card. 88s are obviously like, what, 15K right now, and he is 12,500. You can get him a discard probably at 11K. Buy 2 of them, let him sit in your club for a while. I think it's a ways away, unfortunately. So just some passive coins you can make here on like a card like this. And if you do happen to know who's like good, I don't know, but if you do happen to know, there's probably some benefit in investing in that card. I don't know if it's Anders or Nicholas or Tex or whoever the hell it is, but the less we talk about these cards, the better, because who cares anymore? And fodder's staying about the same right now. Let's read some of your comments now. I'll actually read a couple of the ones I've not gotten to yet. And this Sexton comment here, I wanted to bring this up because this is something that, like, once again, is one of those little things that these things add up and make it just frustrating. For example, these like lower end cards that are cheap SPCs are like 4 squads now, and they're 4 squads of, yeah, stuff that's not very valuable, right? Like 82 squad, 81 squad, 83 squad, 83 squad, something like that. But they do that on purpose to just just drain stuff from your club more and more and more and more and more. That's the only reason that that stuff exists. They could make it 183 squad or 184 squad. Instead, it's like 82, 82, 81, 81, 82, you know, something like that. It's like, why are these 5 squads? That is also how you fuck over the grinders, because you're just, the amount of players that leave your club compared to what come back is so significant. And if you look at everything that they do in the menus, it's about how many cards leave your club versus come back. Everything is a more cards leave than come back. Even marquee matchups now is really close to even. It's sometimes you'll gain more cards because they'll be nice to you that week, but so some weeks like you don't actually gain any cards. It's a small prime, a small gold, a small rare gold. Okay, you get 18 back, you put in 33 cards in the SBC. You might be able to upgrade silvers to golds or whatever, and maybe that helps. But the thing is that they're so obsessed with having your club be less and less players. You used to be able to grind the menus and end up with like 2,000 players in your club by spending a ton of time, and you can't do that now because that was just deemed too good. Even though it took a ton of time to do, it was deemed too good. And we'll read Christian and Mark Mac's comments here actually. So Christian says, the female players in FUT, what do you think about them? Basically make them in one separate mode, or what do you think? I think if gameplay is good, it doesn't matter. They can be in there. Like when the gameplay is good and it makes sense, the women players should have their downsides and their positives, right? Just like any short player would. And I do selfishly like the more player variety. I definitely do. I just think if gameplay makes sense, I just dropped my phone. If gameplay makes sense, then I think the women's players aren't a problem. Women's players become a problem when gameplay sucks and it's not consistent. I think that is the actual core of the issue. That might not be true, right? That could be wrong, but I do think that if the gameplay was good, the female player thing probably wouldn't matter. And right here, Mark Max says, how do you feel about Chew Boy's contention that EA have already mapped out everyone's sentiments and reactions? That before Black Friday, you'll see the first FIFA is dead posts. People will say pace doesn't feel fast. He said EA already knows the money is made on the casuals. It's already accepted and proved in the company, and as much as hardcores might not like it, it's true. So even though they'll make content for the vocal hardcore community, the game has to be for the casuals, which explains a lot. They also know that by and large, after each game, each patch, the reactions are simply, if you're winning, it's good. If you're losing, it's bad, particularly if you were already successful pre-patch. I think he's right. The problem is, if he is right, there's nothing for creators to talk about. And I think that, yes, like there's going to be some creators that are they're just spewing basically because they have to, and not because they have to, because they could actually be objective or attempt to be, but they just need to say something that like creates engagement. And to be fair to them, they're winning, right? That's what helps them, and it helps their channel grow and then make money and do these things. When you say contentious things and you become vocal and you become this and that helps. When you have the average take and the takes that are boring and that are like trying to be level-headed, that in this algorithmic time doesn't actually benefit you really. When you appeal to outrage and appeal to certain things, that is good. Not to say that we never do that here, right? But if there's times where we think it's necessary, then we do appeal to that. So that's kind of the issue, is like, I can't blame them. I can think less of people who are just, you know, they cannot stop the hate train constantly for anything all the time, whether it be FIFA or not, obviously. But that's what is rewarded in all these social media algorithms, is that it's the big, bold takes that most people don't believe, but it creates a reaction and creates engagement. So support your local creator who doesn't appeal to that. You know, support those guys who try and be objective in things, whether it be FIFA or not, I don't care what, just that are more level-headed. They don't play into the algorithmic feeding, even though you do need to a certain extent, but attempt to maintain that level-headedness. You don't really see that much anymore on any social media. It used to just be like Twitter that would appeal to that. Now it's everywhere because algorithms are the most important thing. But would I be surprised that EA have this? No, I wouldn't be that surprised, honestly. And they're probably for the most part right, but the issue is their game still isn't very good. And I also think that their game can be good for casuals and hardcore players. It's possible to have that symbiotic relationship, and they, for some reason, can't balance that right now. We've seen it better in certain years. We haven't in other years, and it hasn't for a while, it feels like. So I think you're probably right, but I do think that they definitely can improve on that duo kind of coexisting, right? But okay, guys, thank you all for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Peace.